It's Champ Chat here at the award-winning Bricklayers Arms. Delighted to announce that the Bricklayers Arms won the South Bedfordshire Canberra Award for 2025. So essentially, it makes it the best pub in South
Bedfordshire.
Yeah, not just Luton. It's the best pub in South Bedfordshire, and I would go out on a limb and say it's the best pub in the world. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself.
That's next, 2026.
yeah. 2025, South Beds. 2026, the world domination of the Brickies. Yeah, with me, I got Wedge. How are we
Hello,
getting on?
good morning. Yeah, not too bad.
So no Phil this week. Our thoughts are with Phil and his family. We should jump straight into the championship action, the best league in the world, providing you're not a Luton fan.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, I think, throughout the league this weekend, I think, with results going for and against people.
Yeah, well, I did say to you there weren't many controversial moments this week. I guess like one of the ones that we can sort of kick off with, QPR Leeds. And that's an interesting one because QPR went ahead in that game, 2-0 up.
Fine goal as well.
What was your pick of the goals?
What, throughout the championship or just in that game?
in QPR Leeds, because I probably have a very different idea to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, based on finish, it would be Sato's the first goal, wouldn't it? Because he just picked up on the mistake and just curled it into that top corner. I thought it was a
tidy finish. I personally, for that, I loved the assist from Tanaka. I think it was Tanaka that assisted him, which was funny.
For the first goal?
Yeah, the Leeds player. Yeah. I think it was Tanaka just passed it straight to him. He was like, thank you very much. I'm going to hit this first time.
Yeah, intercepted the ball and then have it back. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I love Steve Cook's goal because the header, the cross was perfect, and the header had some swaz on it because the way there was an angle where you see the header actually curved in off the post. It was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Saito as well with the sending off right at the death, but Leeds did well to come back into it.
I'll be honest, I mean,
it was a sending off. Dan James was rightly pissed off.
Yeah, but I think a yellow would have probably sufficed there. I know he didn't get the ball. He took him from behind on the calf.
Raked the Achilles.
It was on the calf, wasn't it?
Well, it was the back of the leg. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Fair enough, sending off.
Yeah. In the 93rd minute, I guess Dan James, you let him in injury time charge you and boom, there's always a chance that you could concede. I thought Leeds' goals, very interesting when it's like the two fullbacks chipping in with those goals.
Omar Bogle's probably the best right back in the league, would you say? He just seems to appear everywhere. And he wasn't offside. I know they were trying to claim offside. It was an own goal, wasn't it?
Yeah. You said Omar Bogle. So Omar Bogle, the journeyman striker. You mean Jaden Bogle?
Jaden. Oh, my apologies.
I don't know if they're related.
Omar Bogle.
Yeah. Now you got Omar Bogle on the brain. Yeah,
I remember Omar Bogle. Where is he these days?
I think he's old, isn't he? He's like
retired.
I'm gonna check this out actually.
Whilst you look at Omar Bogle, I'll talk about Jaden Bogle.
He's only 31. Jesus Christ.
Current club? Does it
Crew.
say? Is it Crew?
24 matches, 5 goals. He's been around, hasn't he?
Old
Omar. Yeah. No, but Jaden Bogle, I agree, he's very good. Yeah. I actually think maybe Omar Bogle was at Leeds. He's been at a lot of teams. Like, look at this. He's been at a lot of teams.
Crewe, Newport, Hartlepool, Doncaster, Charlton,
Den Haag. Yeah, random.
Cardiff, Portsmouth, Birmingham, Peterborough, Wigan, Grimsby.
That is a journeyman career right there.
It is.
Yeah, that is proper journeyman. Mad.
But back to Jaden.
Yeah, Jaden.
His maybe not cousin.
Yeah. Could be related.
I think he's had a great season. He just seems to appear in the penalty area when the ball's loose.
The run was excellent. The way Leeds had to go at it, keeper saved it, push it out, and he just kept his run going.
Yeah.
Junior Firpo with the other goal as well.
It was an own goal.
Was it an own goal?
Yeah. Yeah, it was going wide, and
Fox. It's gone down as an own goal.
It was definitely going wide. and it got that deflection of Fox to divert it in. It was
Yeah.
that wasn't going in. Had Fox not touched it and Bogle put it in, it would have been offside.
Yeah, I was thinking. I didn't see the deflection when I watched it back, and I was thinking, wait a minute, that fella on the line, he's interfering with play. Like now, I don't understand the offside rule anymore because it's changed so much. I was thinking that geezer's offside, but I didn't see the deflection.
Yeah, no, it definitely because I mean I was on the way to the game yesterday with Phil, and you could just hear it on the commentary, and the commentators were, we don't know if it's a Firpo goal, is it an own goal, is it a Bogle goal? We have no idea. So even the commentators didn't know what was going on. But
yeah, well, look, Leeds have stumbled.
Mm-hmm.
Would you call this a bottle?
Is
it the start of a bottle? Are we at the bottleneck and the bottle is going to get full blown?
Well, you can be given the chance to bottle it when the teams directly below you get given a chance midweek and don't take the opportunity to apply the pressure. So, I mean, it is. I don't know the last time there was such a close top three in the Championship.
Well, last season.
Was it last season?
Yeah, last season was really tight. Yeah. Like I think there were 4 teams that could have done it. Yeah, it was mad. Ipswich were disrupting everything.
Yeah,
but they'll be back next season. Ipswich.
Yeah, they will be.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, one of them. I still think Leeds are that team to continue and win the title.
Yeah, well, we don't know about Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday because this is recorded bright and early Sunday morning at the Brickies, the best pub in South Bedfordshire. So, well, we don't know what's going to happen in the Steel City derby.
We don't know. What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, well,
ignoring our predictions from last weekend for the Pompey Leeds, what do we think is going to happen this weekend?
I know, we got that so wrong. No one saw that result coming. No. Look, Sheffield United, they dropped into third. Mm-hmm. So they got to win. But
they do.
Sheffield Wednesday are no mugs. They're not turning up to roll over, are they?
Absolutely not.
No. So they got to win. They got to get back to second. Mm-hmm. But Burnley, they just keep rolling on, and they did the business. Like I think in the first 10 minutes, like both goals were in the first 10, and then business as usual. No, it was 4th and 22nd minute, but then
still,
they
nice
just
and early.
Yeah, exactly. Get the job done. Job's good in, and sit back. Let Swansea try and break you down, especially in the second half. Swansea kind of went for it, but
you're not going to do that against Burnley, are you?
No,
really?
No.
Burnley. Is that a record keeping clean sheet as well, isn't it?
I think that's the 23rd clean sheet, and there are still 8 games to go. That's mental. Like I know Scott Parker got a lot of shit at the beginning of the season, especially from us, but especially from a lot of Burnley fans. No, but you knew. Like Scott Parker, he's done the business so many times in this league. I'd like to see him do it with a less favoured team. Like he had Bournemouth. He had who else did he have? Fulham, yeah. I'd like to see him do it with a team that's not a favourite to go up and see how...
Like a fringe, like a West Brom or something like that. Ones which are always close, but
not... lower than a West Brom. I want to see him do it with a Bristol City.
I mean, they're not that far behind this season.
I know, but I don't know if they're going to make it into the playoffs. I think they're doing really well.
Because the other teams around them are melting down, isn't it? It's not Bristol City's good fortune.
Yeah, well, the way they're going...
It was a good game on Friday.
I know, right?
2 attacking teams.
Mark Sykes did really well with that first goal. He turned that geezer inside out, and I think he had to go off it at half time because he just had such a poor game. Such a poor game. I'm going to get the name of that geezer. Who was it? It was Cordoba. Jose Cordoba. And Mark Sykes. Mark Sykes completely turned him inside and out for that goal. It was a hell of a strike, though. Probably one of my picks for goal of the weekend, I think.
Was it Cordoba who gave the ball away for the second goal as well?
Yeah. He didn't have a good one, did he?
No, short goal kick to him. He travelled over to the corner flag, lost the ball, and then they scored.
Oh, it was awful.
And then he had the the balls to complain to the goalkeeper that he should have just kicked it long.
I know.
He kept the ball for 10 seconds after he received it.
There's
but
a lot
big
of
mistake.
goals. There's a lot of goals where you look at it and you think, well, this is just an advert for not playing out the back.
Yeah.
Just boot it. Just get rid of it. I'm not an advocate of playing out the back. I absolutely hate it. But Borja Sainz, I want to talk about Borja Sainz because from the first half of the season, he was top goal scorer. And obviously there haven't been many goals scored this season from number 9s. It hasn't been like a Mitrovic or trying to think of another standout championship striker that's like bagged tons of goals. Ivan Toney? Did he bag
when
loads
he was
of goals?
with Brentford, he
bagged loads of goals. There hasn't been a standout. Like Borja Sainz is still top scorer in the league with 16 now. But if you compare the first half of the season to the second half of the season, I know he's had injuries, but Borja Sainz
and
is
a suspension.
Yeah.
Is it a 6-game suspension?
But he's completely dropped off.
Yeah.
And it's helped that Josh Sargent has come back and he's doing the bits. But at the same time, it's sort of indicative of how Norwich have fallen out off this season so massively.
They have. And when you kind of look at the chances that they've created, I think they're in the top 3 for chances created, goals, shots on target. They've been an exciting team this season, but they've just not been able to go on that run like someone like Coventry have done, or Middlesbrough earlier on in the season. Yeah. They've not been able to have that consistency, and I think it's kind of just that result's probably just dropped them out of that playoff race now, hasn't it? I mean, what, they're down on 49 points? And you've got West Brom up on 56, I think.
Yeah, they're down to 13th in the league.
There's 2 or 3 teams around on that mark as well, aren't there, where you think maybe they've just got too much to get that 6th place now. Yeah,
well, it's becoming a mini league, like for the playoff chasers, and someone that is dropping out of that mini league like a stone. Blackburn Rovers. Now we discussed it before I think we were messaging each other like, what is even the point of Blackburn Rovers right now? Burnley fans will be rubbing their hands, waiting for this. They're pathetic.
Their last 3 games?
Yeah, go on.
No, you told me. You brought it to my attention. I wasn't really aware, but
shocking. They've lost to Derby, they've lost to Stoke, and they've lost to Cardiff. Like 3 teams in the relegation battle, and they've got to play Luton in a couple of weeks' time.
So they might still get in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, Dr. Luton will sort them. Dr. Luton will cure them of their ills. It's absolutely disgraceful, like how they've allowed themselves to not compete. And Salek's goal is well taken goal, but in all fairness, Cardiff could have beaten them 4, 5, 6. And after seeing Luton versus Cardiff earlier in the week, I can't believe that this was the Cardiff that turned up.
Yeah.
We were saying Cardiff were like one of the worst teams we played against.
Yeah, I mean, that first half midweek, it was non-league quality, wasn't it? And I know they've had a couple of narrow defeats, Cardiff. Burnley earlier on last week, I think. To go up to Blackburn and kind of get that result for them, it's massive. I thought possibly the wrong call on an offside goal for Dolan. I thought he got himself back on side. Very, very tight. But, when you're down in the bottom 5, 6, you need those to go for you. And Cardiff got it like yesterday. But again, battling away the performance from Cardiff to pick up those 3 points.
No, that's what you want to do when you're down there. You need to battle.
Hull have done that very well these last 3 games. And again, yesterday away to West Brom, 1-0 down.
That goal was a right old mess, though. I was trying to figure out who put that in. It was Kamara.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, because I think the ball came in and then it was like scramble on the goal line.
A little bit of pinball.
I think it got pinged into his face. And he Warren Feeney'd it in. It just sort of slammed in off his face. Like, look, a goal's a goal. They all count.
A team that can't score should have scored many goals. Luton Town. Again, could have been like Burnley. Could have been out of sight in the first 10 minutes.
The battle was there. The fight, the desire was there. The finishing wasn't, though.
Finishing was... And I had a look at the stats at half-time. Luton had 14 shots in the first half. And
I think 5 on target. But those 5 that were on target, they should have all been in.
Yeah. 1 off target from 3 yards out. And, I mean, Middlesbrough, I've said for quite some time, they are possibly the most erratic team in the Championship. You never know what side is going to turn up for Middlesbrough. For a team who are only 3 points out of the playoffs, if they play more like they did against Luton, they won't be making it.
Well, we saw the two sides of Borough, didn't we? We saw Borough against Luton earlier this season when they just steamrolled Luton 5-1, and then we saw the Borough that didn't turn up until the second half.
Yeah,
I don't think they entered Luton's half until the 37th minute.
Yeah, they had the block shot, didn't they? But that was it. And I mean, to be honest, they could have got something at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, when they put up 4 minutes of stoppage time, I mean, everyone around us was thinking 6-7 minutes. Jacob Brown was down for a while. They put up 4 minutes, and I'll be honest, when they got the corner and he blew the full-time whistle exactly on 4 minutes, I was glad there was only 4 minutes left, because we ended up hanging on. And I say Luton ended up hanging on, but we're disappointed with that. It was almost the perfect week for Luton if you look at the last 3 games they had. Burnley lost, Cardiff beat, and then you'd have taken a draw against Middlesbrough. But
in the context
of the game, it should have been 3 points. In the context of all the other teams around Luton winning, could well be.
So with that point for West Brom, but Borough also got the point, and Bristol City winning. So it really does make the playoff picture a lot more interesting, especially in the context of Coventry and an absolute demolition of Sunderland.
I mean, I know they're up in...
Did you see that coming?
No, I mean, especially after midweek.
Yeah.
Losing 2-0 to Derby, and then you think, is that Coventry?
Have they run out of steam?
Have they? But,
yeah.
I mean...
Sunderland are running out of steam, though.
They are, but they're not getting automatic, are they? And they're not going to drop out the playoffs. No. Obviously, they need to keep going and picking up points just to keep that form going into playoffs. But the odd bad day, I don't think Sunderland are going to be too disappointed with. I mean, it was a good hat-trick by Haji Wright, wasn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic work.
Yeah.
He's back now. It's amazing to see him back. He's a hell of a player. Lives offside, but funnily enough, at the beginning of the season, we did a podcast that is confined to the archives because the audio was so poor, and we picked out Haji Wright as like the player to watch out for this season. And him coming back at this point of the season could be the difference for Coventry in the playoffs. It really could. Sunderland, though, we discussed it, haven't we? Whereby if you don't go into the playoffs with momentum, like maybe dropping out of with the automatic sort of getting away from them now, there's a possibility they've lost that momentum now, and it will cost them in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to. Not last season, the season before with Middlesbrough.
Exactly.
They just rested players and
it's a perfect
struggled
comparison.
And straight out, weren't they? So, Sunderland will still want to keep going. They've had a great season so far, and there's no reason why it should stop. I mean, it'll be great. I mean, those 3 that are... Well, I say 3. I think Coventry will make it, the run that they're on. But...
What about Bristol City?
I mean, I like to hear your take on Bristol City.
They're proving me wrong. Look, the fact is they're a team with very little quality, but they won, and Scott Twine wasn't in that starting lineup. but they have some other bits of quality. You know, you got your Mehmetis, you got your Mark Sykes, who's really stepped up the past few weeks. You got your Harry Cornicks.
He scored a couple of weeks ago, didn't he? That's the first time he scored in 13 months or something.
That's him done, isn't it?
You watch, they'll get in the playoffs and they'll win the winning penalty at Wembley to take them into the Premier League.
In reality, it could happen because playoffs are all about momentum. It's the team that comes in with momentum that can win the whole thing. Providing like, you don't have Burnley or Sheffield United who are sort of trying to get that second spot. Or it could be Leeds dropping down into the playoffs. You never know. You never know.
It is that tight, isn't it?
Sheffield United, if they win today, they go joint top with Leeds. I mean, they got like half the goal difference, but honestly,
that's something I was looking at. That's
goal difference is mad.
Considering I know they had 2-point deduction. I mean, 2 points is nothing in the grand scheme of things, really, is it? But their goal difference is 17 behind Burnley and 27 behind Leeds.
Like we call Burnley's football attritional, but Sheffield United's is the personification of Chris Wilder. It's like the ham sandwich of football, whereby they're not blowing teams away with beautiful football. It's very much a case of horses for causes. Here you go, bish bash bosh. It's almost clinical. It's like a doctor cupping your balls in a completely professional manner and saying, cough please. There's nothing spectacular about it. It's functional football. It's like, yep, here we go, we scored, now break us down, we'll defend, oh yeah, we'll hit you on the counter. There's nothing spectacular about Sheffield United, but Chris Wilder is sort of a throwback type of manager, like a Pulis or one of those managers, an Allardyce. Functional football, not football for football's sake. It's like, this is a game, this is a sport. The aim of the sport is to win the game. We're going to do anything we can to win the game, and that is why their goal difference isn't staggering. They haven't blown teams away like 6-7s like Leeds. They're in the business of winning football and football matches, and that's what they're doing, and fair play to them. They'll have to reassess next year, or maybe I think pragmatic approach is the proper way to go in the Premier League, I'd say. If you want to stay up, you got to be pragmatic. No room for beautiful tiki-taka football, because high press of like a Liverpool, that they'll put 11 past you.
It's whoever goes up, it's going to be again a big challenge for them, isn't it?
Massively. It depends.
It's almost not worth going up.
I know. Look, the journey is better than the destination. Like, winning games, being in the playoffs. That's all I ever wanted for Luton Town. I just wanted to be in the picture, sort of chasing the playoffs, because the chase is more fun. Yeah. But talking about the chase, we got to talk about the relegation picture. So we mentioned Hull, and that's interesting, I guess. Like, Hull are sort of pulling away, but they got a big 6-pointer. They're not completely out of it. And a team that we thought were getting sucked in was Oxford United. And then they go ahead and beat Watford 1-0.
They needed to beat Watford.
They had to. Yeah.
I mean, they're still only 4 points ahead of Derby, I think.
Yeah. So they had to, in the context of Derby winning, which we haven't even talked about. That was a 6-pointer. But because Derby won, Oxford had to win, because Oxford were really at risk of getting sucked in.
Yeah, let's have a look at the where we are. So we've got Oxford on 18th, Portsmouth on 17th on 42 points as well.
So Portsmouth have been sucked into it as well. No, they're both on 42. Yeah. Portsmouth's
and Derby
good
on
run.
38. Derby are in that last relegation zone spot.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, it could be. We were talking about a bottom 6 this time last week. You're now looking at a bottom 8.
Yeah.
Based on results which have gone throughout the course of this week.
Well, it becomes a bottom 8 if the likes of Luton can actually pull some wins out of the bag to gain some ground on Portsmouth and Oxford. But Oxford did need that win because they were the most out of form team in the league, bar none. And the goal was very funny because who was it? They got, I think it was Goodrum, got completely taken out. And he was giving the whole rolling around. As soon as as Dembele puts the ball in,
he's on his knees. Just
he's
doing
up.
This, wasn't he?
He's up. Yes. Oh, I'm fine.
That's footballers for you, isn't
cut
it?
that out of football.
Yeah.
Had it with that.
Yeah.
Annoying. Absolutely annoying. But it was a must-needed win because they would have been on 39 points, and that would have put them level with Stoke
And Cardiff.
But obviously Cardiff got the win. Stoke late despair against Millwall. You love it, don't you?
I love the fact that Stoke lost. Was it a pen? He made the absolute most of it, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
I didn't watch the game. I was at Kenilworth Road and literally looked at the phone, and it. I think Phil had Sky Bet up, and it just went suspended penalty Millwall. And I mean, we were pretty happy as Luton fans. But someone that was on the concourse with us said that same thing had been happening all game, like shirt pulling, everything happened all game, and nothing was given. So he was saying that Stoke can probably feel a bit aggrieved that decision went against them.
Yeah.
But
I turned it on for about 5 minutes, and I got everything I needed from that 5 minutes with the commentator saying, and now it's going out for another throw-in. It was a very stop-start match. But, you're going to get that with Millwall.
Yeah,
and Stoke. Yeah. It's a pretty big loss in terms of the playoff picture. Stoke genuinely, I feel...
Playoff picture? I wish we were talking about the playoff picture.
The relegation battle, my bad. You're a team as big as Stoke, you'd expect them to be in the playoff picture. But since getting relegated from the Premier League, they haven't finished above 13th.
Wow.
Which, I know, right? That's
consistently
6 seasons.
Yeah.
6 seasons where they've been...
It feels like
below
longer.
Average. Yeah, I know. So their second season was when they pinched Nathan Jones, I think.
Yep.
And I don't understand with the amount of capital that the Coates family have pumped into that team. And they're so bad. And they ruin managerial careers. Like Mark Robbins goes in with a very good pedigree, and he's their third manager this season. I'm sure maybe Narcis Pelak is actually a very decent manager, and they ruined Steven Schumacher as well. It's just endless. The Stokeism, it's endless.
I'm looking at Stoke's next 4 games.
Who they got?
Got QPR at home, Preston away, Luton away. No, sorry, Luton at home. Sorry, and Cardiff away. And then the next
those are big games. Those are big games.
Yeah.
Look, if they turn up, they could get something out of all those games, with the exception of Preston. And Preston, very impressive because they beat Portsmouth 2-1. And I'd say Preston are probably one of the most informed teams. No, not Preston. Well, Preston are one of the most informed teams. Like,
under the radar.
They are. Well, I mean, they're not troubling the playoffs in the slightest because they draw too many games and they win quite infrequently. But you know what? They are tough to beat. Pompey, though, were one of the most informed teams in the league, beating Leeds. Oh, nightmare.
My stats.
My knowledge. Beating Leeds the other week was mad. Absolutely mad for Pompey. And Preston go in there. They win 2-1. Porteous gets a goal. I mean, the second goal for Darson. I actually lose track of how many Scandinavians they have. It's mad. It's like their front three are Thordarson, Frokje Jensen, and Jakobsen.
What did you just call me?
Frokje Jensen. It's and then you have Will Keane, who kind of looks a bit Scandinavian with his like man bun. They are going under the radar, and as I said, they're not troubling the playoff picture in the slightest. But they're a very tidy team, and I've never rated Paul Heckingbottom. I find him to be a very dour, boring manager, and his style of football is very boring as well. But hey, fair play to him because Preston, they've
lost 2 of the last 10.
Yeah, and with
won
this,
4, drawn 4. So
in total, they've only lost 11 all season. for context, Bristol City only lost 9 all season. Coventry lost 13, but they had a terrible start. Sunderland lost 7. The amount of losses they've had could put them comfortably top 8. It really could.
Yeah, it could. They've drawn 1 less than West Brom.
Yeah. Well, West Brom, they had that mad run, didn't they? I think Mowbray's done a good job of sort of coming in and steadying the ship after you lose possibly the best manager in the league in Carlos Corberán. He's done a good job.
Yeah.
He's done a very good job.
I was trying to find out for the Championship alone what the most draws in one season a team have made.
Wow.
And I couldn't find it for the Championship.
Yeah.
I could find it for the Football League.
Yeah.
And the most is 23.
Oh my God! Who was that?
I can't remember off the top of my head who it was. I think there was 3 or 4 teams. They're 5 draws away from joining.
Oh blimey!
In 8 games.
They could do that. There are 8 games. They could do that.
If they do that, they won't be in the playoffs. I don't think.
No.
But
yeah.
There'll be joint record for the most draws in a season. That's
I could
something
see Preston
to claim.
Doing it. I could see Preston doing that.
They've got to do 7 then.
Yeah.
No, sorry. They've got to do 6 draws.
Just to tie it. I think that could happen if they go unbeaten for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Just 8 draws on the spin. They could do that. But I think we covered every single game.
We have we?
Yeah. That's absolutely wonderful.
Well, Plymouth Derby.
Plymouth Derby. Yeah, we did mention it briefly. One thing that
the game with the most goals we didn't talk about.
Yeah, I know. It's a relegation 6-pointer, and we actually put it on the back burner to talk about it later. Marcus Harness scoring 2 goals. That was an interesting one. Tidy finish for the second.
Yeah, I mean, what has happened to Derby in these last 7 days? I mean, it's been
John Eustace. He's getting his philosophy in.
Yeah.
I hate that term philosophy, but he's got it in there. He's settled them down, and to be honest, I thought this was going to be a whitewash, and then Plymouth came back into it. The interesting thing that the second goal was actually a Nat Phillips' own goal. I thought it was Callum Wright, and the funny thing is Callum Wright's been really hard done by, because that own goal, that Nat Phillips' own goal, sort of took away his goal. He hasn't scored a goal for Plymouth for 2 years. And he also had that goal incorrectly chalked off against Luton for offside. Mm-hmm. I feel for the guy. Like, if you look at his numbers, look, last 2 seasons, poor guy hasn't scored a goal. And that's not good for a striker.
No.
Yeah, that's absolutely demoralising.
No.
He hasn't scored a goal since the 22-23 season. That, for context, that is the season Luton Town went up in the playoffs, and he's played almost 60 games since then, and he hasn't scored a goal. It's not good for a striker.
It's not. That is not good returns. I was just looking at Derby since the beginning of the year. They have scored 4 goals in 11 games before last week, and now they've scored 7 in the space of a week.
That's mad.
That is a turnaround. Yeah. When they need it, though, isn't it? I guess, you know.
That's a new manager bounce right there for you. Wow.
And they play Preston, funny enough, next game.
Yeah.
So that was a tough game for them.
Yeah, that is a real tough game. I think that's sort of a derby, isn't it? Right, but that's us done for this week. A reminder, if you're in the Luton area and you've got a train to catch and you're looking to kill a couple of hours, come down to the Bricklayers Arms, the award-winning Bricklayers Arms, best pub in South Beds, Camera award-winning Bricklayers Arms. And remember, it will be the best pub in the world this time next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't know why it isn't already, to be fair.
Done the regionals, now we're going on to Worlds. Yeah. And they have a whole spring beer festival, and every first Tuesday of a month, if you like karaoke, they have Crappy-oke. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Big thank you to Black Star Amplification for the toys that make this podcast possible. And a big thank you to the record shop in Amersham. Wherever you are in the country, if you collect vinyl, get down to the record shop and buy some vinyl. Mention the OK Football Show. You get a discount. There's a little picture of us up. We'll have to get you on that picture, actually. And
this ugly thing?
Yeah, exactly. Why you're turning people away at the door. Point to the picture. Say, I'll listen to those twats, and then they will give you a discount for your misery. of having to listen to us. Right, but that's us done. And whoever you support, have a great rest of the weekend. And
rest of the 2 weeks international break now, isn't it?
International break. Thank God. No, thank God. So you don't have to watch our team play. We won't be back next week because of international break. But everyone, take care.
Have a good one.